Welcome to the Writing Benchmark Scoring. This presentation is for the iCoaches, and it's information about the personal narrative benchmark that's coming up very, very soon. You will find information that will help you when you're testing on your campus. The benchmark for the personal narrative will occur on October 28th, and the window opens on October 28th to November 8th. The benchmark will consist of a writing prompt in the personal narrative with planning pages. We also have 2 planning pages. The students will also have 12 multiple choice editing and revising questions with selections that go along. The students are asked to go ahead and start wherever they want, and they finish wherever they want. The duration of the test should take approximately 2 hours and should be administered on the same day. The rubric training and calibration. iCoaches will be given the PowerPoints to present to the teams. All modules given to the iCoaches will include PowerPoints, digital videos, and handouts. Anyone who scores the personal narrative on the campus must go through and complete the training modules. And there are 3 training modules that are placed as a part of this calibration training. After the teachers and staff complete all the modules, then they will score their papers. And we're going to be scoring them in an adjacent scoring model, very, very similar to what the state does. Actually, it's the same model. The language arts teacher is to score his or her own compositions. Another scoring member of the team will be needed to score these same compositions. Their scores will be added. Let's say, for example, homeroom teacher A scores it as a 3. And another teacher on the team scores it as a 4. You will combine those 2 scores and it would be a 7 in the adjacent scoring model. If you need more information about the adjacent scoring model, go to the first part of the modules called the nuts and bolts of the STAR writing test, grade 4. If there is a discrepancy of more than 1 point, then there will need to be an expert on the team who will score it, similar to what is done with TEA, and I will explain that. If there's 1 point off, like if I scored a 4 and you scored a 3, then there's no problem. There's a 1 point of discrepancy. If there's 2 points or more of discrepancy, what TEA does is they go to an expert scorer, and that person scores it, and they just multiply their score by 2. That's what we're going to do. So if you find that members of the team, after going through the training, are off by 2 points or more, then there will be someone designated on the team as the expert scorer or the other scorer. And that is trusted because they have a lot of experience, and number 2, they have gone through the training. And then they will just multiply it by 2, and that will be the score that will be placed on the Scantron. So what is placed on the Scantron? Well, you will see that the students will have 1 through 12 multiple choice type questions. And then number 13, there is an open place to put the adjacent score. And the range goes from 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There would be no reason for a score 0.1 in the adjacent scoring model, or a 9. So the teacher should be bubbling in the adjacent score as 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Well, why is that? I'm going to explain. In the adjacent scoring model from TEA, and this slide comes from Victoria Young's PowerPoint, and she is the coordinator for testing and writing and social studies in the state of Texas. This is how they use it. You will have a score 0.1 and a score 0.2. And I'm sorry, a scorer 1, scorer 2. You have 0 and a 0, and it equals a 0. That's not a problem. Non-scorables fit in these categories. Number 1, someone could get non-scorable because they didn't respond. They didn't write anything. Number 2, it was illegible. Number 3, it was in another language other than what was expected on the test. And number 4, they may have just copied what was written on the prompt. In that case, it's an automatic 0. So there would be no reason where you would add a 1 and a 0 to get a 1, because they're either non-scorable or they're not. Then they would fall in the range of the rubric into the different writing categories as a very limited, basic, satisfactory, and advanced. So this is along the score would be the adjacent score. So it goes from 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you need more information about this and you're not really clear about it, if you go to the first module of the training that's called the nuts and bolts about the star writing test, it will be explained more explicitly there. So the scoring ranges should be 0 to 8, as you see, not including a 1. If you see that your teacher has scored in a 1 or a 9, that's the time to have a conversation. So these are the reasons why you would have the non-scorables is illegible in another language, nothing is written on, there's no response, or the prompt was copied only. Now, Ann Kuchera has found a way to combine the compositions with the multiple choice items to get a clearer picture of how the students are doing in the personal narrative. This is one mode, and this is the mode that TEA uses. So basically 40% of the test will be based on the composition that the student has written, and the other 60% will be weighted in the multiple choice questions. That is very similar to the way TEA does it, and will do it this year in when the students take it in April. So basically, with both compositions, the expository and the personal narrative, they're weighted at 36% of the test. In the 28 multiple choice questions on the actual STAR test is 64%. If you need more information about that, please go to the first module. Basically this year, as the students take the test in April, the raw score needed to pass this year's STAR writing test according to the raw score conversion scale from TEA is 23, because we're still in phase 1. 23 out of 44 possible points. That's basically, you're looking at the combination of the compositions with the 28 multiple choice. So if a student had a raw score of a 23, they will have passed the test. They would have met satisfactory range, in the satisfactory range. If they get a raw score of 36 out of 44 or more, that is their advanced academic achievement. Anything below that, 22 and below, is considered unsatisfactory. Again, I refer you back to the nuts and bolts, the first module, if you have more questions. Now, basically that's the way, the information that we're going to use. We're going to use adjacent scoring. That's why you will see that griddable on the Scantron. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is maureen.ucles@springbrancisd.com. I'm giving you my cell phone number because that's probably the best way, including my email, to get a hold of me. Leave a text, let me know who you are, leave a voicemail or both, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Another way to contact me is through my office number. It's 713-251-2425. I'm not always in my office, out and about most days, so I might take a while to get back to you if you leave a message on my office phone. I'm more apt to get back to you that same day if possible, if you leave a text or voicemail, and possibly even an email. So if you have any questions, let me know, and have a great time with your benchmarks, and thank you very much for supporting our teachers.